Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. So have you ever wondered if Windows 98 could actually be installed on a modern PC? I know I've wondered that for a long time. This OS came out in 1998, back when most of us were still using CRTs, dial-up internet, and maybe 64 megabytes of RAM if we were lucky. Fast forward to today, we've got multi-core processors, gigabytes of memory, SSDs, GPUs that can run photorealistic games, and I wanna know if Windows 98 can survive in that world. Let's find out together. Here's what I'm working with. A 4th gen Intel Core i7 processor, a Gigabyte motherboard, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, that's literally 32 times more than Windows 98 expects, an RX 480 graphics card, released in 2016, way after Windows 98 had been retired, and finally a 512GB SSD. Now, how do we even try installing something this old on hardware this new? I decided to do it via USB. First, I grabbed a Windows 98 ISO from winworldpc.com. Then I made a boot floppy using a special file and put the installer files on another USB stick using FreeDOS. Basically, I tricked my PC into thinking it's 1998. Already just getting to this point took a while, formatting drives, figuring out which tools would even recognize the files. Honestly, it felt like saving a puzzle just to get to the setup screen. Finally, after a lot of trial and error, I was able to type in setup. And just like that, the installation began. Except my mouse didn't work. Luckily, I had an old Logitech PS2 mouse lying around, but instead of using it, I thought, why not honor the old ways? So I did the entire installation using only the keyboard. Felt very authentic. And you know what? At first, it looked like things were going smoothly. But then, shouldn't have said that. Turns out Windows 98 does not like modern amounts of memory. In fact, it won't run with more than 1 gigabyte of RAM, and I've got 16. After some headbanging and way too much searching on the net, I stumbled across what I can only describe as a sacred file. Basically, a patch that removes the RAM limit. So time for more copying and more waiting. Love it. After running the patch, I restarted the installation and success. For a moment, at least. But then another problem. At this point, I was ready to give up. But I decided to restart the PC and cross my fingers. And somehow that actually worked. Windows 98 is officially running on a modern machine. Of course, we can't just stop at the desktop. We've got to test the game, and what better test than Doom? So I loaded it up and it worked. The frame rate? Perfect. The nostalgia? Perfect. Mission accomplished. Of course, there are limits. Since the RX 480 was released in 2016, there are no official drivers for Windows 98. That means no real GPU acceleration, no modern games, no 3D benchmarks. If you know any crazy workaround for this, let me know in the comments. I'd love to test it out. So there you have it, Windows 98 running on modern hardware. It took patches, restarts, and a lot of patience, but in the end it worked. If this video gets 98 likes, I'll try installing Windows 1.0 on this machine. That would be interesting. Thanks for watching guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.